JD Vance is finally on the record about what's going on with his marriage with Usha as rumors swirl around him, Erica Kirk, and a potential divorce with Usha Vance. And we also are learning, too, that Kash Patel, in a different messed up relationship, has used the SWAT team to give a lift to his girlfriend's drunk friend. That's right, your tax dollars being used to help a girlfriend's drunk friend. Insane. And there's also a Netflix merger I want to talk to you about at the end of this video. But let's first talk about Kash Patel's order to SWAT to give a lift to his girlfriend's drunk friend. I just cannot believe. I just really think with any other administration, all this stuff would be so disqualifying, but we're just bludgeoned with it left and right. All right, FBI Director Kash Patel ordered agents in his girlfriend's security detail to escort one of her allegedly drunk friends home after a night of partying, according to a report. Sources told MS Now, which I guess is MSNBC with a new coat of paint, reports that Patel, 45, at least twice ordered the security detail assigned to his 27-year-old country singer girlfriend Alexis Wilkins to drive Wilkins home. When agents pushed Wilkins' request to drive her friend home, Patel ordered them to do as she said, the insiders claim. Why do the SWAT team have to listen to a 27-year-old girlfriend of a federal official? They're not even married. Even if they were married, should the spouse of a federal official be ordering around a federal team? It doesn't make sense to me. And by the way, how do you like that your tax dollars are being used in this way? And in one instance, Patel even called the leader of Wilkins' detail and shouted at him to do what Wilkins asked, they added. Wilkins, who lives part-time in Nashville for work, receives a separate security detail that includes members of a local SWAT team. It's crazy that a girlfriend gets a security detail when they're not married. I just think that should be the delineation. If you're married, fine, it makes sense, but you're not married. You shouldn't get the protections that one would get unless you have the commitment that marriage offers. Past FBI director spouses occasionally receive protection when traveling with their partners. Former FBI agent Christopher O'Leary called the orders, quote, outrageous and demonstrative of Kash Patel's complete lack of judgment and integrity. The FBI agent served the public and swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. This is clearly a long way from that. Yes, absolutely. And it's also making us less safe because experts noted that agents trained for high-stakes operations from counterterrorism to hostage rescue were being pulled from their primary missions for what amounts to chauffeuring a private citizen. FBI spokesman Ben Williamson denied any of this, saying this is made up and did not happen. It's so funny. It's always made up. Nothing's real. Nothing's real. The only thing that's real is Donald Trump's Peace Prize from the World Cup. But other than that, everything's fake. And he went on to say, couldn't find any corroboration or record of it whatsoever. He went on to say, Ken's three sources are the voices in his head. Okay, fine. Patel has also been caught using taxpayer-funded jet rides to visit his girlfriend. So this really isn't a far way around from that. And I actually believe that a 27-year-old girlfriend of Kash Patel would have drunk friends and would order the security detail that she's been provided to drive them home. That makes sense to me. Absolutely. Definitely not the best use of our tax dollars or the best use of what are trained agents to help fight terrorism, drive a drunk girl home. But there you go. But I don't believe that's made up. And another thing that definitely is not made up are the rumors about JD Vance and his marriage. Now, I have a report here, but before we get to that, I just want to keep in mind that what sparked all of this in the very, 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 very beginning was when JD Vance attacked Usha on the world stage because of her religion.
Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Old Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
It's so messed up to be like, I hope my wife changes her religion and sees that I'm right and she's wrong. Why would you get married to someone and not accept them for who they fully are? If there's nothing wrong with what she believes, which there isn't. Everyone's allowed to believe whatever religion or whatever teachings move them, as long as they feel sustained by it and it helps them grow personally, as long as they don't use it to attack other people, which is what a lot of people do with religion, but not all religions, not most people who are religious, but certainly on the right and those who seek to weaponize it to gain power, like JD mother effing Vance. But that's what sparked everything, is when he did that. And then there was the hug with Erica Kirk and blah, 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 blah. Now, what happened after all of that was that Usha Vance went to an event without her ring on. And here is what JD Vance had to say about this. He said they were asked about the online speculation about their marriage. And it says, I think that we kind of get a kick out of it. Do you think that's true? Do you think Usha Vance gets a kick out of it? Can't imagine her laughing about that. And I like that he says, I think, like he's not asserting. It's a little like, yeah, we get a kick. Yeah, it's a little, I think we get a kick out of it. He goes on to say, with anything in life, you take the good with the bad, Vance added as he sat in his West Wing office where photos of him and Usha Vance and their children lined the tables around the desk. Quote, you accept that there are some sacrifices and there are some very good things that come along with it too, but our marriage is as strong as it's ever been. And I think Usha's really taken to it. I think. And it's been kind of cool to see how she's developed and evolved into this new role. Now, they went on to say, when talking about the missing ring, it's funny, Vance said, I actually don't think it's that tough. Vance related a more recent story from days earlier when he said he and his wife were rushing to the White House before the second lady left for another event with Melania Trump. As she got into the car, Usha Vance realized she had left her rings behind again after having taken a shower. Quote, she was like, oh, if I don't go back and get them, there's going to be some ridiculous psycho right here who talks about it on social media. Vance recalled, and I was like, let them. It's not even worth the trip to run back upstairs, so we actually have a little bit of fun with it. And we thought the whole viral social media cycle was kind of funny. Okay, so he's alleging what happened was that Usha Vance realized when she was downstairs, she forgot to put on her ring. And instead of just going back upstairs and putting the ring on, she, I guess, called JD Vance and said, I forgot my ring. What do I do? And he was like, just leave it. Let them have fun with it. I don't believe any of that story at all. That sounds like a made up lie, not even a good one. He must, obviously that was intentional. It was obviously intentional. Now they're trying to play it off like it wasn't, but obviously it was. Obviously. I could be wrong. I don't think this marriage is going to be around by 2029. That is what I'm going to assert. I don't think I know. All right, and then I just want to end with this. I didn't know where else to place this in a story, but I just want to say real fast that Netflix is buying Warner Brothers film and streaming assets, which means Netflix is going to own all of Warner Brothers IP as well as HBO Max. And I just have to say, I know this has nothing to do with it. Maybe it's all about relationships. I don't know. I could tie this in some broad way, but I'm just going to say I didn't know where else to place this, but I wanted to talk about this somewhere where I'm just sick of monopolies. I'm sick of it. What this is going to happen, it's going to probably happen in 12 months to 18 months if it gets approved by the Trump administration. Of course, it will be. And what this means is just prices are going to go up. Netflix is going to cost eventually $25 for the cheapest option. And that is what all monopolies do, is they stop competition so they can raise prices. And I don't know how we got into this situation where we just allow companies to get too big to fail, but we have to, I think, eventually have a real conversation about the fact that companies need competition. It helps inspire innovation and it keeps prices down. But what we're walking towards is a life where eventually one day Amazon Prime is $3,000 a month, and that's how you get your rent, it's how you get your healthcare, and it's how you get your food. I don't want to live in that world, but we're barreling towards it. This is one sign. So if you don't like it, then there's not a lot we can do right now, but I think we just have to eventually vote in people who also agree that companies have way too much power. And I just wanted to say that, okay? And Usha and JD, they don't have a monopoly on love. Maybe that's how I'm going to tie that in. Okay,